it's a blessing to have you, bro, with
Yeah.
us. But maybe can you tell us a little bit of maybe your background or a little bit, your earliest context so we can know you a little bit?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can kind of give a general
Yeah.
story. I'm an international student. So I was born in India, and then I've kind of moved around a little bit, probably like moved 8 different times. So like I was born in India. I lived there for a couple years, and then I did my first and second grade in Dubai. And that's where my dad currently lives now. And then from there, I moved back to India to live with my grandparents for a year, and then we moved out to United States in 2012. So I was in Chicago for a little bit, just me, my mom, and sister mainly in the U.S. now. So my dad still lives in Dubai, and then around 2015 we moved to Delaware. That's where my mom had her first job in the United States, and then from there we moved to Massachusetts like 2016. So then I've been here ever since then. So I did high school and college and all that. I've been in
Wait, how old were you? Say when you came here?
to Massachusetts.
Yeah, no, to Chicago. I think you said
9 years old.
9 years.
Yes. Yeah.
How was that change?
Oh, it was
'Cause
huge. Yeah.
It's a huge change.
It was
The
definitely-
culture and
Yeah. I'd say definitely a culture shock, a big culture change. I mean, I watched like a lot of like HBO and things like that. So I learned a little bit of English like growing up that way, and I could appreciate the culture. I always thought it was exciting to come to the United States. So it's always a dream of mine. So I was happy to be here, came here with a positive outlook, but definitely a lot of things that you don't see on TV that you got to adjust to being here, like culture, expectations. Like I remember even like the first day of class, like back home, like in India where I grew up, when the teacher walks in, you stand up, you say, "Oh, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir." I did that the first day of class. Everyone's laughing at me, like, "Why are you standing up?" The teacher just walked in, like you can talk, you can talk to your friends. You don't have to like stand up and show respect. I was like, really? Like that's weird. So little things like that. For the most part, it was kind of like a prayer answered, because I remember I was praying a lot as a kid to like move out from India, because there's more opportunity obviously in a country like the United States.
yeah.
At least in 2012, things were a little more calm here. So I was happy to be here. But I think that mainly it was the social side of things that I needed a lot of adjustment, just because it was hard to make friends because I was always moving.
Yeah.
And, even since like, because in second grade, I moved from Dubai to India. Third grade, I moved from India to Chicago. And then fifth grade, I moved from Chicago to Delaware. So I kind of taught myself like, there's no point making friends because I'm just going to keep moving. And I didn't really have like social media or anything like until I was 13. So I couldn't stay in touch with them.
Wow.
So I kind of learned to just, take life for the season that I'm in. And I say I got good at adjusting like socially towards people, and like I can get along with most people now because of that experience.
Yeah.
But I still, it took me like until like high school to like, okay, I can actually start to plant roots and build a community now, because I've been in Massachusetts for quite a few years. But even then I was a little reserved when I first moved here. I'm like, am I going to move again? Because again, it was all up to like my mom and, where she moved us and stuff. So yeah.
When you were 8 years old, or as far as you can remember, take me what was going through your head. What was it that you were seeking for? Maybe like you're looking into the future. It's like, I want to become this. I want to do this. Any aspiration that you had at that age?
I'd say it wasn't until 13 that I was confirmed what I wanted to do. But when I was like 8, 7, like I kind of had completely different aspirations than what I actually am doing right now. Like I remember my grandpa, he was in the Air Force in India. So I remember I was like, oh, I want to be a pilot one day. And then part of me was just navigating different ideas. I had a big aspiration. This sounds delusional, but I wanted to go pro for soccer. I used to love playing soccer growing up, especially when I moved to the United States. That was kind of my way of fitting in, because I didn't really play sports back in India. So when I moved here, I was like, I got to pick a sport because everybody here does some sort of recreational activity. So I'll pick soccer. And then I fell in love with the game. But then I fell in love with the game so much to the point where I'm like, Mom, I'm going to go pro. And I was like, that's what I wanted to do more than anything else. But then it wasn't until I was 13 where I started to realize, okay, there's a process to going pro, and it takes sacrifice that I don't know if that's like my path as of right now, because I have other things that I also want to do. I want to be in school. I want to learn. I want to get a degree, those practical things. I'm like, how can I combine the two? So when I was 13, I remember I was seeing a lot of my friends on my travel teams get injured, and then they would go get physical therapy. And I'm like, wait, so there are professionals that work with athletes. They get to be in the same field as them, just not playing, but they get to, get pretty close and help them recover. And they would always have great successes with physical therapists. So I was like, maybe I can do that growing up. I can still be close to the sports side of things, but also be practical and like, have a job. helping people. So I was like that kind of light bulb went off, and I've stuck with that ever since. Which I know not a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
It takes them like until their 20s to figure out what they want to do. Thankfully, that department, God did give me that foundation early on. I'm like, this is what I want to do. So.
No, that's good. No, yeah, because I feel like it takes for us, it takes, like a while for us to find out to what we want in life or what we want, like a career wise.
Yeah.
And fortunately, that happened to you, like, like quick.
Yeah.
And the way you would align yourself quickly to, to all the actions or whatever you needed to do. Because I feel like we waste a lot of time. We were in, like doing activities, things that we shouldn't, like, that. Later on, we find out it's not the right ladder that we're climbing. It's the wrong ladder.
Yeah.
And it takes us to a different path.
Definitely.
Yeah, no. And, but when you came here, like, did you experience, like, any, like, type of, like, prejudices or any kind of, like, based on your, color, background, anything like that? Because I feel like it's huge also when transitioning, coming from different, coming from a different country or being,
Yeah.
So I feel like, did you guys experience anything like that when you guys came here?
Definitely. 100%. Yeah, actually I mean, I'm still recovering from that. It wasn't until like probably 2 years ago that I'm like fully like, okay, I'm healing from that. But I didn't realize, from 2012 onwards, there's been a lot of different instances of things like that. Like I'd say, like you said, prejudice, racism, discrimination, and I just thought that was a normal thing, and I didn't really realize that that's not normal, right? But I remember like even 4th grade, I moved here. I can give a couple examples. I used to get bullied a lot, because I remember one time I was in gym class, and we were like playing a throwing a ball exercise, and I got frustrated because the people I was paired up with wasn't passing me the ball, so I must have like smacked my head or something. I was like frustrated. And they took advantage of the fact that I was international. They went and told the teacher, oh, he's like showing gun symbols, like he's trying to shoot himself in the head. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what's going on? And just like little things, like I got a detention for something I didn't do. And I remember even in high school, like I would, see someone wait in line to go get something like from the cafeteria, like 1 minute before they closed. And I would go right behind that person, like, oh, can I get that thing? They're like, oh, no, we don't really do that. Like the cafeteria's closing. I'm like, I'm just here to get a spoon, like something light. And it's like little minor, like microaggressions, I'd say I faced, and even slurs, racial slurs, names, things like that. I had to really like work on healing from those things.
Well, how did you did you come to realize just by like personal revelation, or how for overcoming all of this these traumas of just the bullying and discrimination or whatever?
I'd say it got to a point where I realized, this is like really dark, but I realized that no one was coming to save me. Basically it's like the world is entitled to their opinion, and no one truly cares about me more than I would care about myself. And this is before I was like growing in Christ as well. And I went through like a dark season. This was after I got baptized. I got baptized at 13, which is an incredible story of how that happened. But then I, went through my own spiritual transformation of, sometimes there's certain seasons where you kind of walk away from God a little bit, even after you know He's real and He's for you. Me navigating life on my own. I took to, self-healing, like, okay, I got to build myself up. I got to start going to the gym. I started growing out facial hair. I started changing my style. I started thinking a lot more, okay, if people are perceiving me a certain way, let me completely change that. And I did that. I noticed I was getting different results, because then when I started doing that, and along with that also came a lot of worldly aspirations of, okay, I started going out more. I started hanging out with people I probably shouldn't have. And I'm like, okay, wait, people treat me differently when I blend in with society and I'm giving them what they want to see. So that, along with some therapy, did help. So I'd say it's like from that season, I learned, okay, there's some good things, like therapy is really good for you. Like going to the gym is really good. Like dressing well is good. But then there's certain things I was like, I don't have to change parts of my character as well. I don't have to compromise that. But that was something I didn't learn until like even a couple of years ago. And I'm still learning that now as I'm growing older.
So there were some things that you think now that you compromise, maybe some principles that was that part of you that kind of like compromise on some part because you were trying to maybe not fit in, but at the same time just being you basically in a way, and just ignore this native stuff. But was there a part of kind of like, or no? Like just kind of like compromising certain things
No,
about you.
definitely, definitely, yeah. I mean, honestly, it wasn't until I came to Impact that I feel like I've fully started to even heal and like start to even want to grow in certain things. There were things I was compromising in that I didn't realize were actually hurting me. I thought these were good things. Like the world always teaches you to like, especially in the United States, it's all about yourself. You know, like you have to, you're your own God. You know, you have to be the best and do what makes you happy, and you know you're in control of everything that goes wrong in your life. You can fix it. But I took that literally because again, even growing up, I didn't really have too many mentors or too many even like best friends because I would like I said I moved a lot. I learned to just fend for myself. So that guidance and leadership was all through social media. It's all through things I was seeing externally, not from like a source that I could trust. So from all those like other voices that may not have been helpful, I took to pride. I took to okay like because I was always like a nice person growing up. I was trained to be kind to people, trained, but then that would always be taken advantage of by a lot of people. So I had to learn to like, okay, if you are always nice to people, then they're just gonna step on you. So start to live for yourself. And these are obviously like voices coming from the enemy. So I started partying, like I said, going out. Like I don't drink or smoke or anything like that, but I would still try little things because my friends would do it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Like I'm tough. I don't care. And then like I would, especially like with girls, I've had a lot of trouble with females. You know, I've gotten to too many situations where now I look back and I'm like, I was just trying to fill the void with something that only Jesus could have filled. And I was like, I always thought it was like the next relationship that was going to fill that because I didn't get that love from friends. I didn't get that love like from other places. So I was like, at least if I find someone, they're going to fill that. And like those little things. And I'm like, it started to make me feel good in the moment. But then over time, I noticed patterns, the same pattern. And I think it's just funny that like, she mentioned that too. It's like the same pattern in a different body, different form. Ooh. And I'm like that. I can really relate to that. And I felt like that was God's way of just, I have like stories of just, I know it was God. Like I just know it was God. So I'm definitely thankful that he has me in this season now.
When you get close to God, he will show you the ways and he'll start like, taking to a process of healing. And I'm sure this kind of similar to you that, he started showing you some other patterns that was repeating with you because.
Yeah. And I think like one thing to add to that too is like, I've just been experiencing God's grace on a level that I've just never really thought to appreciate before because like us being humans, like we always fall short and we're not always wise. And the Bible says, for now we know in part, then we shall know fully, right? So he's equipped us with wisdom now if we choose to accept it. Wisdom is a choice. And one thing when I was doing all these other things, trying to fill the void with, people or just other goals, personal goals of mine, I didn't realize how much grace he had on me because the same pattern would repeat itself and he didn't like punish me anymore. He was like, okay, come back to me. I'm like, how can a God love me so much after all of that? Yeah. Like I did all this, like I nailed him to the cross more and more and more and more. And he still cared enough to intervene to prevent further damage. And so I'm just like, I think about the grace and I think about like, all the years of rebellion I've had against him and the fact that he still kept coming after me, I can't help but appreciate like, okay, clearly he loves me, he's for me. So that's been really shaping me. And I think even Pastor Zenzo's message on just like replacing bad patterns, with good patterns to create good outcomes. Yes. Sometimes like we're praying for a miracle, but God's like, just do the little things right consistently. And then you'll see blessing, you'll see good outcomes. So I've been thinking about that too. So
Adrian, you seem really like, grounded. You seem really like, in who you are as a person. What would you say were some of the values that were implemented to you, because of, maybe you digress in life a little bit and you said, experiences here, the changes, but it just seems like you're some of maybe, I don't know, maybe from your parents or the people close to you. What would you say were some of the values that was implemented to you as a kid, you know what I mean, that keeps you even today being grounded and just in life overall?
I say like discipline. Discipline is a gift that I think I've got over just my upbringing as a whole because, when I moved with my mom to the United States, she always told me as a kid, it's not going to be easy. Like you have this dream of wanting to be here, which is great, but you have to work for everything you have in this country because nothing's going to come free to you. Especially because we've been here since like 2012, and we're still working on getting our green card and getting, citizenship, because it's a long process politically. Yeah. So yeah, I was basically saying, ever since I, moved here, even as a little kid, my mom would always instill in me to work hard for the things, because nothing was really given for granted. Like even our status in the country, because we're still in the process of getting our green card, but it's been since like 2012, so it's been over 10 years. We came here legally and we're doing everything the right way, obviously not cheating the system or anything like that.
Yeah.
But even then, that door has not been opened yet. So in order for us to have a chance in this country, we have to be a little better than everyone else we're competing against. So it's like when it comes to me or somebody else with the same resume, the job, like the employer has to look at me and be like, okay, this person stands out XYZ despite not having like citizenship. Like we're going to choose him because he brings XYZ to the table. So I was like 9 years old and she was always telling me like, it's going to be hard. So I think that has driven me to get to where I'm at now. Cause like even certain things that people my age would tend to do, like, summer break, they'd want to go have fun, do their thing. I'm like, okay, what can I do to build my resume? What can I do to get better at, okay, I'm playing drums. Like, how can I put myself out there? If I'm studying, trying to get into PT school, like what are some extra supplemental things I can learn on the side so that I know more coming into my first year? Just little things like that I feel like a lot of people, having a citizenship is something people take for granted. I feel like being in this country, people that are born here, like, they're amazing people that live here, but it's such a privilege to have that, and not having that and learning like the things I have to do to make up for that is something that I've, had to grow in discipline and hard work, like just growing up. So that's something I definitely appreciate, and I'm thankful that my mom has taught me.
And I'm so happy also for you to share that, because I feel like people your age or even younger, oh my God, that's one thing we lack of. Discipline, bro. It's hard for people. It's like, just waking up early or doing this or creating good habits, and it's really hard. Like you said, sometimes we take things for granted. And
yeah, definitely. I think for me too, I have a tendency to like looking at the end product and I want it so bad. I'll do whatever it takes, So even like with growing up, like I wanted to be on the varsity team, like for soccer. And a lot of people were talented, like they played their soccer their whole life. But I didn't start till I was like 12. So I was like a little late to the game. But I was determined. I want to make the varsity team. So I tried out freshman year. I didn't make it. Sophomore year, I didn't make it. But in that time of not making it, I wasn't just like, okay, whatever, maybe next year I'll try again. I was actively like working on my game, working on my footwork, working on my speed, all these little things. And then I only made the team senior year. I was the last person to make the team, but I'm like, I made the team. To me, like that was a sense of accomplishment. I'm like, when I put my mind to something, I'm going to get it. Yeah. So the same thing with even with drumming, like drumming. I was not always like the most talented drummer or anything like that. I've had to. Even someone recently told me, like, as a musician, like certain people have it naturally in them, and I always had rhythm, but like I was never like anything beyond average or anything. But I remember like in even in high school, like I wanted to be part of the jazz band. I love playing jazz. And I remember the director told me point blank to my face, like freshman year, he goes, jazz is not meant for you. I think you should stick to a different genre. This is just not a finesse that you have. And I took that so personally, right? Yeah. But instead of like, I'm a sensitive person in general. But I'm like, so I shed a few tears. I was like 14. It's hard to hear, but I went home and I'm like, and COVID hit, a few years after that. So I was like, I'm going to grind. I was like, I listened to jazz. Like I practiced like at least 3 hours, like every day, like after school, I would go back and practice and practice and practice. Next year, the year from that, I literally auditioned again, and I was the lead drummer in the jazz band. He's like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but you're on, and you're our main drummer.
Oh my God!
I was like, praise God! I'm like, that's crazy, because I wanted it. When someone tells me no, and I want it so bad, I'm like, I'll do the work. I'll do the work.
Like I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, so I've seen time and time again that like that pays off for me. So, I've learned to like, okay, if I really want something, what am I willing to do to get it? The good things.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What do you think it's so hard for people to be disciplined? Like from your experience, or what do you think is like so hard just to like, is it the habits or is it just like the things that, like, I don't know. Like, why is it so hard for some people just to?
The hardest thing I feel like is just the amount of time it takes for certain things. Like some people, even me, I'm not perfect in my discipline too. There are days I fall. But I think the hardest thing is sometimes we live in a culture, especially with a very dopamine-driven culture now with, doom scrolling and social media. We get things like instantly. Technology has made it so easy for us to get access to anything we want and whenever we want. And we think that our health is the same way. But the thing is, God designed our body different. We have, Ecclesiastes 3 talks about there's a time for everything. There's a season for every activity under the heaven. So your body, as much as you want to advance AI and advanced technology, your body is not AI. Your body is made by God, breathed by God, right? So if he says your body takes X amount of months to get this muscle to grow this way based on your genetics, you have to be willing to be, okay, like, this is what I need to do. But some people are like, I'll go to the gym on New Year's Eve. I'll go to the gym January 1st, 2nd. I don't feel big. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
I'll quit. I'll come back in June. It's like, no, that's not how God designed us, right? So I think it's just the idea of sometimes people are not willing to put like the amount of time every day consistently. It's a consistency that kills people.
No, and I love that you came and shared that some of your insights, some of your knowledge, is because the thing is, and when we say success, we focus on money, we focus on material stuff, we chasing and we ignore all this stuff like, oh, we come in, eat whatever, and we only have one body. It's not like we're gonna get two or like down the road or cookies. Like no, and then as we age, it's even worse.
I mean, I think for a lot of people, it is hard because like depending on your lifestyle too, and like depending on if you have kids or if you work full time, you work double shifts, things like that. Like there are certain people that obviously it makes sense why they're not able to contribute as much time as they think they can. But I think just education on just health overall, like because I think anybody can be fit if they really wanted to. Like even if they're working 80 hours a week, it takes honestly 10, 20 minutes a day of a simple habit like walking or like putting like a certain meal down, being like, I'm not going to eat this kind of thing. Like that alone can go miles. It can go distance in your life. I think if people personalize it for themselves, like there are a lot of things that anyone can do to make themselves, healthier. And it doesn't have to be boring. I think sometimes there's just stigma of like, oh, I got to go and run for an hour every day. And it's like, it's false. If you like really educate yourself, like you can do something you love doing. Some people like playing pickleball. You can do that weekly. You can play basketball, or if you like walking your dog, make that into an exercise. There's things you can do to personalize it. So if you give health a little more education on that, I think it can go a long way for yourself wanting to do it more.
Diet. How does your diet look like? Or if I don't know if you follow, but or just some things that you probably would recommend.
Yeah, so I heard someone say this once, and it's actually true, right? So like a diet is something that's temporary, right? Diet isn't permanent, but really it's your eating habits. Yeah. Really, that's permanent. Because you can stick to like some people do keto or they'll do paleo or they'll stick to a diet for a certain amount of time and then they'll stop. The thing is, you want to find something that works for you that you can replicate for the rest of your life. So if you don't like what you're eating just because it's healthy, that's not going to last. So even if you feel like, oh, if I eat salads for a month, I'll be good. It's like, no. If you don't like eating salads, don't eat salads. It's like, for me personally, I like meat. Like I like protein. So I find ways to put protein into every meal because for my goals personally, I like to keep my muscle. I don't want to lose that. Mm-hmm. So protein's like the number one substrate to do that. So I try to include that in every meal. And then I can also eat the foods I like. I just count the calories. So for my, I look at how many calories I burn a day. And then I basically eat like that amount of food, so I maintain like what I have. Oh,
so you're really strict then?
Personally, yes, because I like the aesthetics of how the human body works and things like that. So and anyone can calculate that based on your height and weight. It's like a little formula online. You calculate, tells you how much you should eat a day, and as long as you follow that, I mean, you could eat bad food, but it fits that calorie range. You're fine. It has other adverse effects, but generally speaking, you can still have meals that you like every now and then if it's not always good for you. Yeah.
And should I work like? Does it matter if I work like, let's say, more than an hour, or is it the intensity of my workout?
Oh, intensity.
100%.
Yeah.
So I can work workout for 2 hours, and then if I don't put on the intensity, like my the liftings, whatever that I do, so it's more about intensity then.
Yeah, it's definitely about the intensity. I mean, you can get a 30-minute workout and be much more effective than an hour and a half if you're going at a certain intensity. Yeah, like even recently, people have like this whole, like, let's say bench pressing. That's a common exercise people talk about. You always see people, I'm going to go do 5 sets, and take 30 minutes on the bench. I mean, honestly, you can do 2 sets till failure and you're getting a better result than doing 5 sets of like 70 to 80%. So when I go to the gym now, I go like 4 times a week, and I'm out in 45 minutes. It's quick sessions, and in that I'm fitting my cardio in too. I'm lifting for 30, and I'm doing 10 minutes of cardio, and I'm out. So like if you tailor it to like your goals, like if you're trying to build muscle, there's a certain regimen. If you're trying to lose, weight, there's a certain regimen. But you don't have to make it 2 hours a day. Like that makes people hate the gym.
Yeah, no, that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of my friends goes like for at least for 2 hours. Like yo, it's like, and then I do
your whole day's gone.
and I do an hour. It's like okay, I'm heading out now. It's like what do you mean you should be here for an hour? It's like, and then it's like, and now I'm like, how long you mean you're gonna be here? Like 2 hours. It's like no, man, you gotta do your cardio for 40 minutes, and then this. I'm like I don't know, and I always have that, you know what I mean? That curiosity. It's like okay. That's why I ask you. It's like, okay, well, should I work? Is it that, or should I increase my?
Yeah, if you're willing to go all out for 30 minutes, that's just do it. It's better. It's better. Yeah.
I think when we go to the gym, I don't know what happens. Like I see some people on their phone. That happens to me too. Like like we go to the gym, we do some reps, and it's like okay, 3 minutes in the phone, and then it's like that. No wonder why probably we stay there for longer.
Definitely, I would avoid that in the gym. Phone for me is strictly for music. Like I use my phone, but it's like music. Like as soon as your body feels ready for the next set, go into it. Sometimes people like, oh, I have to wait 3-4 minutes. Not always. It depends on your goals. If you're trying to bodybuild, that's a very specific type of thing. Don't listen to me for that. But if you're trying to just stay fit overall, be healthy, like you shouldn't be doom scrolling while you're working out. That also like ruins like your focus on how much you can lift too, because it interferes with your neuromuscular connection. That's a whole different topic.
No. That's a practical thing to do, because I feel like that's also a practical thing, because we're so like, man, we want to be on the phones the whole time. It's like let it be an exercise also. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like just leave your phone or just listen to music, or even have a playlist already. I feel like. Because that happened to me. When they didn't have a playlist, I was just, okay, let me switch over a song. And then after I found my song, I would go to, okay, let me check social media. And then look at distracted. It's like, no, it's like, now it's like, okay, I have my playlist for like, for that amount of time that I'll be there. I feel like that's like,
Yeah, you'll get out the gym faster too. You'll thank yourself. You'll have more time. Just get it done.
That's true. Yeah. No, but it's really important, really to talk about a little, about this, about
definitely,
and also, because you say you're working on your license, or because you're becoming a physical therapist. You said?
Yeah, I'm a physical therapy school. Yes, and I'm also a personal trainer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so I want to compare this. So now that you're working towards this, have you given it up or how was it that when just giving up on the dreams that you wanted to become a professional soccer player? It's like at what point you said, this is it?
I'd say, I was 15.
15?
15 years old, yeah. And then, because I was learning a lot about like sports science, exercise science, and I was also like obviously looking at the reality of going pro. It's like 1%, top 1% of like your college. First, you got to be the best in your high school. Then you may make it to a D1 team, and in the whole D1 NCAA association, it's like the top 1% of those guys go pro, and of the guys that go pro, how much of them are actually making good money? So it's like it's the reality. I'm like, it didn't make sense for me because I still want to have a stable future, and I want to have like a house and all those things. So I'm like, okay, realistically, long term, because I always think long term. As much as I want certain things, I'm like, if it's not going to benefit me in the long term, it's not worth it. So that's why I was like, when I was learning exercise science, I'm like, I love the body. I love the way it works. I love that this is how you grow muscle. This is how you get faster. There's a science behind that. So I'm like, if I can help the next person become LeBron, I'd rather work with the next LeBron than try to be like someone who's like an average player, So that kind of got my mind shifting. So when I was 15 years old, I started hearing about this major called kinesiology, which is exercise science. So then when I toured Gordon College, that's the school I went for my undergrad, and I was like, this is what I want to do. So even before I got into college, I'm like, I'm declaring this major. This is what I'm doing.
Wow.
So some people, they change their majors when they're like sophomore year in college. I'm like, no, I knew since day one. It's hard, but this is what I want to do. So,
what's the most fulfilling part of pursuing this pathway for you?
I mean, I'm still in it.
Yeah.
But I say when I start working, I definitely know what the best part is, but I'm just already envisioning like the flexibility with physical therapy is really big. Because there's so many different fields, it's like there's sports, you can do neuro, you can do cardio, you can do pelvic floor. There's like so many different options. Yeah. So I feel like even if I felt bored after a couple of years of doing something, I can always try a whole different field and still relate it to physical therapy, because everyone needs PT like at some point in their life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wanted to ask you this question because I pull up on the statistics here because you're a physical therapist, and it says here that the statistics says that you know it says roughly 80% of Americans will experience lower back pain at some point in their lives. That's 80%. 80% of Americans will experience lower back pain
Yeah.
at some point in their lives. Is this something we can avoid?
Lower back pain.
Yeah. Or what would be some practical things, or is this something we can actually avoid? Because 80%,
And
that's huge.
it's funny because out of that 80%, 85% of those cases are idiopathic, which is known as like there's no known cause, but it really comes down to your posture.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really because a lot of Americans, especially like most of us, have jobs where we're sitting at desks and
Yeah.
we're typing all day. You don't realize you're naturally slouched over. So that's what we call flexion. It's a flexion bias. So when you're like this, you lead to certain like herniations or disc issues in a flex position versus some people who have a straighter
Yeah.
posture. Then it's your spine is more aligned the way it was made because your spine has curves, kind of like a S shape. But if you're too flexed over, you're like making it unnatural. And over time, over a few years, all that load starts to degenerate those joints. That's why it's important to like work on your posture every day, even the way you're sitting, the way you're eating. Just like
Yeah.
it takes a while, but I think a simple habit I've like given people, and I've also heard like other experts talk about is just even like taking like every 20, 30 minutes from working, just standing up against a wall, keeping your head
Okay.
lined, keeping your your backside lined, your heels lined. Those 3 points of contact, just practice that for a minute every like an hour or so when you're working. It'll train your body over time. Okay, like we need to be in this position.
Or how long do you think it takes for us, like, really work on it and then to dominate?
I mean, science always talks about it takes 2 weeks to start forming a habit and 2 weeks to really solidify building that habit. So I say like even if every day those few minutes you work on just standing against the wall and getting that posture right, naturally you'll start to feel like when you're not doing it, you'll be like, oh, wait, I should probably not be doing that. And over time, it just becomes more natural because then you'll start to feel pain. Certain days you don't do it, you'll feel the pain. And it's kind of like reading your Bible. It's like there's certain days you don't read your Bible, you don't spend time with God. You notice there's a shift.
That's good.
There's certain days you don't like, align your posture. You'll feel at the end of the day like, oh, I'm so sore. Oh, it's because I didn't do this. So then I think that's how that naturally tends to happen too. And also like even in New England, like a relatable reason, people like can tweak their back too, like shoveling snow. Like sometimes, like, people, they don't use their legs. They just bend straight down. Sometimes it's good to use your legs. In PT school, we talk about body mechanics. If you're getting lower, like there's a way to do it. Use all your limbs. Don't just bend over and break your
Okay.
back, things like that.
No, that's those simple things that we don't even pay attention to,
Yeah.
And then this is one. Then why we're gonna end up one of the 80% of the people from this.
Yes, yeah.
It's those are things so valuable, man. Like we gotta take notice
Definitely.
because otherwise, as we age, then we're like, okay, why? Okay, yeah. But
Yeah.
so the things that we can avoid, it's really avoidable, overall. Also, you can say maybe.
Definitely avoidable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we ignore it.
Yeah. And also, I mean, there's we want to get really into the weeds. Something else to focus on is like how do you sleep at night too?
That's true. Okay.
Some people like to sleep on their stomach, right? And that over time, it means that you have an extension preference because then your body likes to go backwards sometimes. So those people will also prefer walking. They'll prefer running, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So like watch how you sleep, like watch how you sit, those things will determine like if your back's going to have issues later on in life,
But how do you balance your trying to pursue in your career? How do you stay grounded in your relationship with God? Because it's so hard, man, to with the drums too. Being a musician, your career, being a physical therapist. How do you balance that, bro?
Yeah, honestly, like a verse that I've been really meditating on recently is in Psalms 37, and this might be my new favorite verse, but it says the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. And I was thinking about that, and it's so true because I mean, if I can share my testimony of how I got into grad school too, I mean, it was all the Lord. Like like I said, I had this dream of becoming a physical therapist. And then I graduated Gordon College last May, so I was already applying to PT school. And PT school again, it's a graduate program, it's a doctorate field, so it's harder to get into. Obviously, like it's not always guaranteed that because your GPA had to be past 3.0. You had to make sure you had A's and B's and physics, all the science classes. And for me, physics and chemistry were like my hardest classes in undergrad. So I almost didn't make the cut for grad school. And I knew this is what I wanted to do since I was 13. So I'm like, God, you brought me to this country. You've given me this aspiration. You've given me this dream. And you've brought me this far. I'm graduating college. I applied to like a few different schools, PT schools. I got rejected by all of them. And then I'm like, God, this can't be, because again, I'm an international student. So if I'm not in school full time, I have to go back home. And I'm like, you didn't bring me here since I was 9 for me to go all the way back, like right at the end of we haven't even finished the race yet. So I was like, God, what is your plan in all this? And I remember MCPHS is a school I'm in now. I was waitlisted at this school originally. I was rejected by all the other schools. And then it was around the time where they were about to give the answer, and they rejected me. MCPHS too. I was like, this is real. Like, this is actually happening. Like, what's happening? But I realized in all this, I'm like, God is faithful. Like, God is faithful. And he never gives you more than you can handle. And he also doesn't give you everything to the point where you don't need him. So I realized, okay, my discipline in life has got me this far. Like, I made the jazz band, I made the soccer, like all that I can credit my discipline, but there's certain things I cannot do without the grace of God. Like, there's only so much I can do in my own strength. So I think that was God's way of showing me, hey, like, okay, you can do this much on your own, but you're going to need me for this part. So I was like, God, okay, like, I give it to you. I trust you. And because in Matthew 6, I was led to that verse where it was saying, like, what does worry add to your life? Like, God, dresses the lilies of the field. How much more will he clothe you? And it's like, worry adds not a single day. Don't focus on your past. Don't focus on your front. Don't worry at all, because worrying offends God. So I was like, okay, in this season where I should be worrying, where everybody in my position would be worrying, I'm like, okay, God, I got rejected, but that's man-made. What is your choice? So I prayed one night completely. I gave it to the Lord. I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? I kid you not. The next day, the advisor that I was working with, the summer school advisor for MCPHS, she called me personally. We were emailing this whole time. She called me. She got my number. She goes, Adrian, I have some news to share with you. I was like, okay, what's going on? Because at this point I had finished my prerequisites, and I finished like the physics and chemistry that I had to retake. I finished it and I passed, but they rejected me shortly after the pass. So she was like, we spoke to the board of directors, MCPHS, and this never happens, but we've opened an extra seat for you. So out of a 40 cohort program, they made it 41 for me, and they gave me a scholarship. It was a unanimous board decision that they accepted me because they saw potential in the way I was like working hard, and I still did the prerequisites, and I was still determined to come. And they said it was just like a unanimous vote. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was so thankful to God, because to go from completely like rejected to unanimously being accepted with a scholarship to a school that, I didn't even make the criteria for on my own, like wisdom or knowledge. I'm like, God brought me here for a reason. It wasn't until I fully submitted that to Christ. And then I remember, like, ever since then, like, just being in this program, like, I know that I'm here because it's the center of God's will. Like, that's his plan for my life. So he's not going to fail me. So that's made balance so much easier. That's why being part of Impact, I'm like, how can I give back to him? Because he gave that to me.
That's good.
Like, he's answering my prayers. I'm going to give back to him. So, like, drumming for Impact is... It's ironic because it's serving, it's giving, but I love doing it because I love playing drums. I get to do what I love, and I get to serve Christ, and I get to be in a program that he opened for me. So it's like, when you're like in the center of God's will, I'm noticing he doesn't give you things that you're doing miserably because I have to do it. It's like, no, these are things that he gave you the desire to do. Now you're just doing it for him.
Exactly.
So that to me has been huge. And I never want to leave this place of just, that cycle of he gave me a desire, I'm giving it back to him, So that's kind of where I'm at now in that season.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, I'm so happy for you, man. Really, it's just enjoying life, enjoying your calling, enjoying just everything that you're doing with God.
Yeah.
Really, really. It seems like you're only getting started.
Praise God.
Yeah, no, I know you will flourish. I know you will succeed. I know because of your discipline, because of your love for God, serving. All of it you just mentioned, and you staying grounded. You too, man. It's such thing, like, it's so hard to see. But what would be your message from what have you come to learn, and what would be your message to you people your age that maybe they're struggling with, maybe, I don't know, things in their life, purpose or identity, or anything, things that you have come to learn, that a message that you would share with them what should they, pursue first? What should God stay grounded? How should they stay grounded? How, things.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. I mean, there's a verse in the Bible that I think sums up a lot of like my life up until this point, which is basically the horse is prepared for the day of battle, but the battle belongs to the Lord.
Right.
And that's very powerful because it is what you make of it. Because when God gives you, sometimes you'll think, even Pastor Zenzo talks about this too, like you'll have desires in your heart and you wonder where they came from. It's like it came straight from Him. Sometimes you use it for your worldly reasons or for yourself, but that was intended by God for a certain purpose. So those desires that He's given you, like you should work on it. Like work on it and be faithful to like the little that He has given you, because that's going to turn into something great the more you do with what He's given you. And to ye who has been given little, if he's faithful in it, shall be given more. So I feel like from my experience, it's like God has honored my like faithfulness. Because if I'm not obedient, there's certain seasons in my life where I turn away and I go do my own thing. I've noticed there's no favor in that. But when I do what He's called me to do and I put in the hard work, He's going to give me the result. Amen. Same thing with the school. Like I did the work, like I did the prerequisites. I just didn't have on my own the grades to get in. He's like, no, I'll get you in because you honored that. Wow. You still did your best. I'm just asking for your best. So same thing with, just intentionality with your life. Like if He's giving you a job, a 9 to 5, and you hate your job, do it well. Like do it well and trust God. He's going to elevate you if that's not where you're meant to be. There's little things like that, like just being faithful in the season that He has you in instead of just complaining and just looking for a miracle. Like I just don't think, at least personally, that's not how God's operated in my life, where I'm not going to do anything. I just want you to do everything. Like He wants you to be faithful in what He's given you. So I think just that 50-50 of like partnering with God instead of just expecting Him to do everything, it goes a long way for younger people too. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's enjoy you drawing this from your connection with Him, right? Your relationship with Him, the time that you spend with Him, because the Bible says, acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He will. Yeah,
definitely. So. I think honestly, like spending time with the Lord daily has helped my sensitivity with that, because before, like even, I'll be honest, a vulnerability, like even a year ago from now, like a year ago, I wasn't as close to God as I am now. He was always there, but I just wasn't accepting His invitation. So I would go on social media and I would just go on it for hours and hours. And I would listen to podcasters. I would listen to worldly podcasts who give good worldly advice, but it's not godly advice. But then over time, I started, their advice didn't satisfy. It made sense practically, but when I went and actually did it, I'm like, wait, no, I'm still hurt. This still hurts me. So then when I started spending time with God, like especially recently now, it's not that you have to cut it out completely, but you'll know when your cup is not overflowing. Pastor Zenzo talks about that, and it's so true, because like when you're like in God, like he flows, like he's a cup that runneth over. So if you're not flowing, like overflowing, like you're gonna notice that. So when I watch social media for like say like a few hours, and if I didn't spend time with God already, and the first thing I'm doing is Instagram. And like halfway through the day, I'm like, I'm in a bad mood. I don't even know why. And I realized like I can feel the Spirit telling me, wait, come spend some time with me. Come spend some time with me. The second I do that, I'm like, wait a minute. All this is fake. Like He loves me. This is real. Like I'm not just looking at a screen of people who don't actually know me. I'm talking to a God that actually knows me. So when I do that, I look at social media through a whole different lens. It doesn't mean I hate it. I'm not looking at it. I just look at it. And sometimes I look at people and I'm like, man, I wish you knew God. Like I listen to someone talk and I'm like, oh, if only you knew that that's not the truth. And I feel like I'm able to discern things a lot better, because even the Bible talks about in the end times, because I do believe we're living in the end times, there's a lot of false prophets. There's a lot of false teachings, but only those that are grounded in Him and His word will be able to discern that. There's certain wisdom that comes from the world, and there's certain wisdom that comes from above. The less time you spend in His word, the more susceptible you are to like people taking advantage of that. Like people that pose as godly, but they're really not. Right, so even sometimes I'll fact check what people say with scripture, and I'm like, wait, no, that's not what He actually said, so I should not be listening to you. Which a year ago I would have been like, oh wait, no, that's great advice. And I'm like, wait, no. So I'd say definitely spending time in scripture and like that wisdom coming from His word. And
if we don't know all of these things, we'll just easily adopt belief systems of the world. Right. Things that like advice is like do this or that, or like in subconscious or subtle, like some. But then when you submit yourself to the Lord, it's like the Holy Spirit is like, no. This is not scriptural. This is not, this is not word compliant.
Yeah.
but we need it. It's I feel like it's a connection with God. Otherwise, you try to like analyze it, like, oh, maybe that like that. But once you're with God, it's like, okay, He will show you the things, your perceptions, like you have your discernment. It's sharp.
Yeah. And your appetite changes.
Yeah, your appetite. Yeah,
Yeah. Big time.
yeah.
Big time. I didn't know that was real. I thought people were just saying that until I experienced it for myself. I'm like, there's certain things I don't even, I get disgusted at. Even like there's certain music I used to listen to that now I'm like, I can appreciate it musically, but if I listen to it too much, I'm like, I need to listen. I need to listen to truth, man. Like, so you start to get sensitive, and that's how you know the Holy Spirit's in you. It's working.
But yeah, no, thank you, Adrian, really for sharing us your knowledge, sharing your vulnerability, and being open, man. It's so hard to open up. It's so hard to. But thank you again, really, bro. And I know, like your things, God has great things, and your discipline, man, and your love for Him. It's awesome. So